Hello there, welcome back, or welcome for the first time to what I'm affectionately calling in my head Amy's at-home cooking school. I am calling it that because I'm filming this on day, 13 of the quarantine for coronavirus in 2020, in case you're watching this from the future. But if you're watching this now, while you are also quarantined, you will understand why I wanted to make a video on how to make your own flour. So what I've been hearing from so much of my audience is, yikes. I suddenly am at home and I have some time to do some baking, but there is no flour left on the shelves because everyone has been stockpiling it in anticipation of this going on. And that is so frustrating for me too, because I want to work on some sourdough bread, things that I don't normally have time to do, and now there's no flour available. Obviously not the end of the world, in the scheme of things not the biggest problem, and yet I have a couple of solutions for you if you can't find flour and you want to do some baking, and I'm going to share them with you here today in this video. I will tell you exactly what you need to make your own flour at home, including the actual products and then the equipment, and then I'm going to show you exactly how to make it. Let's dive in. Alright, so like I said, I am in the same boat as so many people where I'm like, I want to bake some sourdough bread, I want to make some cinnamon rolls, I'm at home. And it's not that I have so much more time than usual, but I do have more like availability, meaning I'm at my house, I can knead some dough in between homeschooling my kids and shooting some videos like this and those kinds of things. And yet, the grocery store shelves are barren of flour. So I put on my thinking cap to figure out how could we solve this problem with some of the things that are available. And so that's what I want to share with you here today. So I'm going to be making two different kinds of flour. One is a whole wheat flour. This is an einkorn flour because einkorn berries were something I was able to order on Amazon just recently. And the second is oat flour. So einkorn berries are like traditional wheat. In fact, here on the package, it says virgin wheat since 12,000 BC, and it's never been hybridized or modified with genetic bioengineering. It works a lot like whole wheat flour. So you can find some einkorn recipes, but I would be pretty comfortable in most cases exchanging this for recipes with whole wheat flour. It is the whole grain, so it wouldn't work as all-purpose flour. But like I said, I was able to get these on Amazon, and you can see here in my Vitamix, maybe you can see, that I actually have already ground some up because I wanted to test that this works. So this is a cup of einkorn berries just blended in the Vitamix. And in case you can't see it in the container, I'm just going to pour this into here. You can see I got a pretty good fine flour out of this, and I haven't tested it in all blenders, but I suspect that anything like a Vitamix or a Blendtec, a strong blender, and these wheat berries is going to do the job for you. So hopefully you can see that. It's like a nice fine flour, and you just want to let it go for a couple minutes. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do that. Hold your horses, it's real hard. No, it's so easy. So I'm going to put about a cup's worth in here, and I'm going to use this flour later. So you just pour those straight in. Again, I got these off Amazon, and I'll include the link for you in the comments, assuming this one's still available. If not, you could look for like red winter wheat berries, which is often what whole wheat flour is made of, and then you can just throw it in here and grind it up to make your own fresh flour that will substitute for any whole grain flour recipes. So 1 cup in there, and I'm just going to turn this on. So I went from, well, I started too high, but I tried to go from low to high, and then I flicked it up to the highest. I let it blend until it sounded real fine, and then you have your flour to use now or later. Just one thing to note is that whole grains do go bad faster because they have their natural oils intact, so it's awesome. They're gonna stay better in this form, but when you're ready to use it, I'd grind it up and then I'd use it within like a couple days, just because since you have the option for fresh flour, you might as well make use of it. Alright, so the second flour I want to show you how to make is even easier if you've already bought oats. People are having some trouble finding them, but oat flour is really awesome because not in bread recipes, but in like cookie recipes and things, it can make a great gluten-free, if you buy gluten-free oats, gluten-free flour substitute that works really similarly to wheat flour in things like quick breads and cookies. And I actually was able to find some oat flour so you can kind of see the consistency. But the great thing about oat flour is that if you're using rolled oats, you can just use a food processor. It doesn't have to be super strong. You could use even a MIDI food processor or like a NutriBullet or any sort of blender that you have on hand. And all you're gonna do is this. Are you ready? You're gonna pour some oats into the food processor. You could also use your blender for this, of course, if you have a strong blender. I forget every time how this lid goes on. Okay, and then you're gonna start. All right, so now we're gonna keep blending it until it's nice and fine. And actually, if you're having trouble getting it fine enough, sometimes that means you don't have enough oats in there. So you either need to use like a smaller blender or, give it more volume to work with. Mine's still a little bit gritty, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like. This could definitely like be good for some bars or some quick bread, that kind of thing. And if you were able to find oat groats or maybe even steel cut oats and you have a strong blender, you could blend those up and probably get it even finer, more like the consistency of the store-bought oat flour. So that's what I got for you. I hope it's helpful to you to find ways to make some alternative flours at home that you can use in this time where you might not be able to find them. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you'll tune in again to the Family Kitchen Coach, where I'm sharing all kinds of tips to make it easier for busy families to eat healthy more often. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon.